Hi, thanks so much for joining me. I'm Danny from The Glittered Rose. You can find me under that name on Instagram and also over on Etsy. I had so much fun this afternoon playing in my art journal and creating an art journal spread, which I think is just gorgeous. So I run a group called The Glittered Roses, and this month's challenge is spooky. So I thought for spooky, I would go all out. I'd go spooky. I realize that these images probably aren't to everyone's taste, but personally, I love them. So the images come from my own collage sheet, which you can find on Etsy under Dark Circus. And they're creepy, but I think that they are just stunning. So I've created this art journal page with lots of texture, layers. It was, to be honest, it was a nice, easy page or spread, but I had so much fun creating it. I think it's got a lot of a lot of character. It's very atmospheric. So if you want to see how I created this page, stick around. Be sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below what you think, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I really appreciate everybody who has subscribed, who leaves me a comment, hits the like button. It really helps my new channel grow. All right, guys, let's get into it. Okay, so for this journal spread, I'm going to use one of my own images, and this is off my Dark Circus collage sheet. This is actually a pre-put together sheet with small images. They're about 2.5 by 3.5 inches in size. I think they're a great little size for small areas. Um, I'm not sure which images I'm going to use. I think it's going to be hard to choose. So I'm going to pop this down and we'll get started on the background while I think about the images. I need to apologize. I've managed to get most of me working on the background out of shot, but it was super simple, so it probably doesn't matter. So for this background, I'm using a mixture of washi tape and fabric tape. I have a tendency when I get something special like this fabric tape to go, it's too special, I'm not going to use it, which is such a shame. So I was looking at it thinking, gee, it's beautiful. I'm actually going to use it. So this fabric tape is from 49 and Market, plus there is the colourful ones are from Tim Holtz, they're a linen tape, and then there is a mixture of All in Create washi tape. So I've just layered those on top of each other, and I've left some patches plain because I want to have a little bit of white space. Um, I'm going to decide which images I want, cut them out, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have chosen my images and I'm just painting them with some collage medium now. This will seal them, but I'm going to sprinkle them with some rock candy by Tim Holtz. Um, I like the idea of having some sparkle in this spread. It's going to be so dark that I think a little bit of glitter is a little bit funny. But it's also, rock candy is not overly glittery. Well, it is glitter, it's not overly sparkly, I should say. So it gives a really nice sort of um, like a texture on top of the image. Anyway, you'll see once it's done, and I realize this is out of shot again. I'm sorry. Okay, so I've moved my camera, it should be good now. So now I've sealed my tapes, and I've just sealed them with some collage medium. I hope that will make it stick more. The tape from 49 and Create isn't particularly sticky, so I'm hoping this might stick it down. But if I were to do this again, I'd pop a layer of collage medium first, just to stick just to make sure that it sticks properly, but you live and learn. Okay, so I've just grabbed some gesso down and I'm just going to go over the empty places where there's some splashes on it, and also just to whiten it up because this stone paper from Stamperia is very yellow. So um, I want them more white, and gesso will do that for me. And cover up a little bit of those ink spots up the top. Oh, it feels so strange running the brush over the linen or the fabric tape. It feels cool, but it's sort of gripping differently than it would if it was paper. So I think that's going to add a little bit more texture and a bit more interest as well. This just pushes everything in the background and makes everything a little bit more cohesive. So I read something the other day that just confused my brain. Collage artists or mixed media artists looking for the smoothest, non-gritty gesso that they could find. That is just a foreign concept to me. I think the grittier the better. I love the texture and I love that tooth that it has that just makes it grip onto everything. But to each their own, right? I'm just going to dry this off now. I'm loving the red that was in the linen tape on the left, so I'm just grabbing some pieces of ephemera and popping that on the background as well. I'll just glue it down with some collage medium. My son, who is 11, who knows everything, believes that I need to introduce some humor into my videos. So I thought I would tell a really bad joke. What do you call a witch that lives at the beach? A sandwich. How do witches play loud music? On their broom boxes. That's great for an 80s kid. I reckon most kids these days wouldn't know what a boombox is. Mine does because they're so cool and retro. Makes me feel old. Alright, so I'm just going to glue these down. I'm just popping in the red because the images have the red, so I think having a little bit of red in the background will help make it look cohesive and more pleasing to the eye. I think these tickets work because they're like a ticket to the circus. So that's my thoughts behind it. Gee, I wish it cost 35 cents or 50 cents to see a circus. These days it's so expensive. Alright, I'm just gluing this down. Okay, I dried it off and I've grabbed out a distress watercolor crayon and I'm just going around it just to make some marks and a little bit of shading and really emphasize that red. You wouldn't need to use a distress crayon, just any sort of red would work. You could ink blend or use a pencil or a pen, it doesn't really matter, just something to make some pop some color down. And again, I'm going in with a dark brown. It's almost black, just to add some smudgy sort of color, which goes really well with the smudgy sort of gesso that I've popped. The streaky gesso, I should say. I really do love the distress crayons. I think that they're fantastic. But there are other alternatives that you should look into. Gelatos are similar. There are water-soluble crayons that you can use as well, or water-soluble pencils. It's just I really like the creaminess and the texture of these distress crayons, and they go with my other range of distress. So it's looking pretty good. I'm happy with how it's coming along. I think it's looking pretty good. Okay, so my um glitter hasn't set. Well, it's coming off. So I'm going to do a coating of collage medium just to really seal that rock candy. I really don't want people watching my videos feeling like they need to have everything that I have, because I know it's not realistic, and there are some cheaper fantastic options that you should look into. And you don't need all these supplies. Like, you can do things with only a few supplies. Um, I just I like playing with a lot of different media, so it suits me, but it doesn't have to suit you. All right, this is looking pretty good. I'm going to pop them aside to dry, and then we might do some texture paste. I wish I was live so that you guys could help me choose between Snowfall Grit Paste and Grit Paste. Crypt Grit Paste. I think I'm going to go with the Snowflake. It'll match the rock candy on the images, but Crypt would look cool too. We'll go Snowfall. So I'm just scrubbing down a stencil, and I'm going to pop a little bit on. Don't want a lot. I just want a little bit of extra texture. So this stuff looks really cool. It's really thick. Again, the people that like really smooth gesso might like this stuff. It's gritty. It's cool. But again, I guess it's got a glitter kind of a feel to it. But like other Tim Holtz's other glitters, it's not glittery. I don't even think that makes sense. It's not overly sparkly or holographic. It's more of a subtle glitter. It's not a tacky glitter. It smooths into the stencil really nicely though. So I'm going to um finish this up, and then I'll wash my stencil and my spatula. You should always either chuck your stencil in water like Tim Holtz does. He has a pan of water. I don't have that space in my art room. Everything is just covered with stuff. So I just rinse it off at the tap. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and then I'll be back. I'm not the most patient crafter, so I'm going to dry off these images, and I'll dry off um, my texture paste, even though it's not really advisable to, so that we can continue. The good thing about my embossing heat tool is that it's got two temperatures, so I can blast things on low heat and it doesn't really hurt it too much. I, I absolutely adore Stamperia's texture paste, because I can hit them with a heat gun and they'll be fine. Hope you can see the rock candy. Just the texture, it sort of gives it like a um, crystallized look. I really like it anyway. Oh, I like that. That's going to be cool. I'm going to glue this down off camera because it's always a bit tricky gluing over texture, so it'll probably take a little while. And then I'll be back to finish it off. Okay, so it's all sort of gluing down now, and I'm going to pop this number 7 up the top of my page. And I've just smooshed my my texture paste, doesn't matter. So that's looking all pretty dry. I've got some clamps in place. And I'm going to pop on some metal embellishments, but first I'm going to run around these just to um, just to frame them a little bit so that they don't look like they've just been stuck on top of it. I find these little details just really help finish a page. So I've got these little, they look like screw heads to me. So I'm gonna hot glue them down. Yeah, it's all pretty dry. So this is my challenge, my entry for this month's challenge for the Facebook group, The Glittered Roses. So every month we have a challenge, and this month is spooky, which Talia chose. I think it's a fantastic choice for October. I've had lots of fun creating this page. So if you're interested in joining, we would love to have you. We're a very small group of 50 paper artists, and we have monthly challenges and discussions, and we share some of our art. You're more than welcome to join. We would love to have you with us. There's also in the files section, you'll find some free collage sheets, which is similar to this one. So be sure to join us. The link is in my link tree, which is in my bio. Also, if you're interested in grabbing yourself a copy of this collage sheet, it's in my Etsy shop. I might pop it up for sale for the rest of October and grab yourself a bargain. I think the images are gorgeous. So you get access to all the images individually, but you also get them in in 3 different sizes. So they're a good deal. It's a good way of buying your mixed media images. Right, that's looking pretty good. I think things should be pretty dry now. I'm happy with that. I think it looks really good. I think I'm going to go around these images with a pencil. I think a pencil will work a little bit differently to the crayon. I'll be able to get in around the edge of the paper a bit more. Okay, so this is Black Soot Distress watercolor pencil. These are a little bit different to normal watercolor pencils. They feel a little waxy as well, but they're super smooth. I really like them. So I'm just going around it just to add a bit of a shadow and a bit of a border. And then I'll wet them down with some water. Because there's no lead in these pencils, you can easily sort of scratch into gesso and it doesn't ruin the tips or anything. I think they're another good medium. Just gonna grab some water on a brush and we'll just smudge that out a bit. I love this page and I think it's perfect for the spooky theme. I can't wait to share it in the group. All right, I'm going to finish this and then dry it all off and we'll take a closer look at the finished product. Here we are, all finished. I love it. I think it's just so cool. The texture is really amazing. Like the fabric tape just feels so nice. Um, it really is something that if you have it, you should use it, but maybe pop some collage medium down first so it sticks a bit better than what I did. But no regrets. I love it. I love the texture. I love that snowfall texture paste. And the rock candy on the images looks really cool. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to leave me a comment down below what you think. If you think that the images are cool or if they're too spooky. Hit the like button and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Thanks for watching till the end. Bye for now.